Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers, and sisters. Welcome back to the fourth season of the Virtual Motorsport Online Touring Car Championship. Round number 3 sends us to Hampshire, one of the fastest, if not the fastest circuit in the entirety of the UK. It is the wonderful Thruxton. My name is Chris Buxton. I'll be one of your commentators throughout tonight's escapades. Very glad to welcome back to my side for this round. We've got Alex Newman in the box with me. Welcome back, Alex. We're in for a good night.
Good evening. Yes, this is obviously, you've said it as well, it is one of my favourite tracks as well. It's just so fast, this track, and it's obviously very close to both of us. Chris is probably a bit closer to you. Obviously, it's quite one of the shorter tracks as well, but it's practically just all straight, so hopefully it could lead to some good racing here for tonight.
Not a lot of left foot going on in this particular circuit. It is all about the absolute raw pace of these cars. So let's have a look at the calendar that's gone and to come. So here we are, round number 3. We've been to Brands, we've been to Silverstone, and we have got this wonderful circuit in Hampshire of Thruxton. It's Donington, Oulton, Croft, Snetterton, Donington again for the full GP layout, Silverstone National, and Brands GP to see the season out at the end of October. But we've had 2 weeks ago was some phenomenal racing at the Silverstone International Circuit, and I fully expect more of the same here. Now, because there's not an awful lot of braking going on, it is going to be all about slipstream and positioning more than anything else. But anyone that has got any kind of acceleration advantage, I don't think any of these cars have a particular horsepower advantage, or certainly nothing significant. But yeah, anyone that can just get to their top speed a little bit quicker than the rest has that tiny bit of advantage. Will we see any difference in the pecking order? We will see. Okay, so again, those that perhaps haven't joined us in the previous rounds, where have you been? You've missed some amazing racing. We won't go through all of the car applications for this, as there are far too many names. We have enjoyed a very big grid. But we've got all of these amazing brands, Honda, BMW, Infiniti, Toyota, all represented along with Ford. So, and with also one Astra. Sorry, a pair of Astras, I beg your pardon. One Vauxhall team, I should say, representing the Astras. So, what are we in store for? Well, a lot of right foot. This is where we're going to see some real kind of door-to-door, real touring car stuff. These are the incredible cars. We've waxed lyrical about their amazing liveries. Some of them, I think, have changed a little bit since this Spotters Guys was generated. But even still, we still love how they look. But we are certainly going to enjoy how they perform.
100%. There is still so many cars here tonight. Obviously, a few have dropped out, but obviously the tire allocation, like every race, will play such a significant play here in tonight's race, just because of how tire demanding the circuit actually is going to be. I assume the soft tires will probably die out a bit quicker than what we have seen recently.
Well, speaking of tires, again, is anyone actually going to be running this off? No. This round, no soft tire allocation. It is hards only. So only prime tires are going to be utilized this time around. So no one has any particular advantage on any particular round. We've seen that tactical play coming quite a few times in previous rounds. We do have, like I said, a few non-attendees. I'm sad to see Ross McGregor, one of our privateer entries. He's not with us this time. Paul Crawford is not with us. Jack London, Gianmarco Fiducci, the Veloci ace, apparently not with us tonight. Well, our championship dominator, not quite true, but certainly has been a force to be reckoned with. So a prime opportunity for a number of other drivers to really get those top spots. Joel Beltow is not with us. Ty Cuthbert is not on board, and Dan Kell, sadly, not with us this time around. Our Callum Cripps in chat, down with man flu, so but still holding on in there. Good man. Like to see it. We're having a look at Jeff Fournier in the Epic Racing number 97 in one of the most colourful cars in the entire grid, giving it plenty of slideaways. Was watching Dan Herlock during the qualifying session, and the way these things slide around is something to behold. Also, if we can, we'll hopefully be able to have an opportunity to watch them come out of the garages, because there's like no room. on either side of the wall against these cars. These cars aren't necessarily particularly wide, but the garages seem really, really narrow, which is a bit strange. Have a look at Phil Morby then in the number 14 for one of the drag racing entrants. So I'm really interested to see whether we are going to see a bit of a changing of the guard or whether it's still going to be the usual suspects in those top spots. But yeah, if that attendance list is correct, Gianmarco Fiducci not with us. Is that going to hurt his championship aspirations, I wonder?
Well, it has to, because he's not going to be able to win the 3 races that are available here for tonight. But in terms of it, it's going to give us, well, a lot more of a difficult time to predict who might actually win this race. I'm not sure how many of the Richardson Co cars are here for tonight. Did you say Callum Cripps wasn't here for tonight, or was that?
No, Callum Cripps was in chat saying he's down with man flu, but so don't expect miracles from me this evening. So
he's persevering.
Yes, so good man. Right, so qualifying is done. We've just been seeing some of the practice session that is going on. Let's have a look at how the grid stacks up. Who has qualified where? It is going to be, well, what a surprise. There's Dan Herlock at the top with Tom O'Leary. Well, you were wondering about Richards go. Callum Cripps ill and qualified third. Nicely done. Cedo Fire for Brabham in fourth. Superb effort there. Ryan Elliott fifth. Adam Christopher. Good effort there for Quartermass up in sixth position. And Cameron Brewster and Stephen McCready on row 4. I think we are seeing a little bit of a changing of the guard potentially if these qualifying positions hold true. Callum Wilson and Jordan Richardson. Callum Wilson and Jordan Richardson on row 5. Mitch Marie and Jeff Fournier row 6. Phil Morby, Chris Shepherd on row 7 with Matty Allington and Bruno Reno on row 8. That's nowhere near the back of the grid either. There's plenty more cars still to come. Alan Smith and Ben Willis will take row 9 with Sam Dowman and Nathan Croak on row 10. 20 cars deep. I think we'll still have another couple of rows yet to come. And there was one more row to come. It was Aaron Markham and Max Spooner rounding out our 22 car field. Now, Thruxton, I can say from experience, is very fast, very flowing, and it is quite wide. So we will see many wide going into certain corners. Where is going to be our hotspot? Allard, turn 1. Depending on how well you start, could well see some action. Campbell, Cobb and Seagrave, the complex, first braking zone. So that is going to see some side-by-sides. And then it is a fast, relentless flowing of corners right the way back through to the club chicane. Very heavy braking zone. And that will see a lot of action. I have absolutely no doubt. Right, the engine reds rise. And, well, Dan Herlock was away quickly. Was anybody else going to actually follow him through? This is the rolling lap. It's not the racing start. So, yeah, that's why we didn't see the lights or anything going on. So it was amazing that Dan Herlock took off and no one else moved. It's one of those things of, yeah, who's got this one wrong? But there we go. Everybody now working their way through. Last time I was at Thruxton, I actually had, would you believe, the same race had to be restarted 3 times. 4 race starts. It was the last race of the day as well. Everybody was tired, particularly the same driver who got the start wrong. It can happen. It was the same 2 drivers. I think one was following the other one's lead. So I mean, I've never, in all my years of watching motorsport, I've never ever seen it. Same race restarted 3 times.
But let's not jinx it now, because obviously we are just approaching now sector 2. It could definitely happen here for tonight, and we have those 3 races, so we could make it about 6 starts this race if you want to match it.
Yeah, rather not. That yeah, there's only so many times you can defend the same mistake. Yeah. But I think these guys know how to get the most out of the machinery. So we're riding on board with Tom O'Leary, or were, yeah, as we were coming through Goodwood and Village. It is just such an amazing place to spectate from, to race. I would love to have raced it in real life, but yeah, I've never raced anything other than a go-kart. I think people might notice if you start taking a 2-stroke go-kart out there. There is an outdoor go-kart circuit right next to the circuit, and this is a brilliant outdoor karting circuit. Highly, highly recommended. I'm not sponsored by Thruxton, by the way.
Starting to sound like it, but I guess it makes sense though. With noise pollution and all of that, you may as well make it all in the same area instead of scattering it out there.
True enough, right? The grid is forming then for the first of our 3 races tonight. So qualifying order dictates the grid for race number 1. The finishing order from this race dictates the grid for number 2, and the grid from race 3 is reversed of a certain amount of grid spots. We will talk about that when we get there. Right, listen to the engine revs when they rise. And there they go. It is time for the first time tonight here in Thruxton. Go for it. And away we go. There was a pretty good start from Dan Herlock. Not a great start from the second row with Casino Fire. He's got one of the a very, very Larry Richards & Co. Racing BMW. Casino Fire, what a start! Up into second place ahead of Callum Cripps and Tom O'Leary. I think it was Callum that had a slightly recalcitrant start, but Tom O'Leary has gotten up and is fending off his teammate. Just about a bit of door banging there from Elliott, trying to make his way through. Adam Christopher is flirting with the grass on the outside of Seagrave. Just about keeps it straight. Now being challenged he's being challenged by Callum Wilson on the outside line, now working their way through Noble, now down towards Goodwin. Fast right hand, vast majority of the corners are fast right handers. We're riding on board then with the number 69, Callum Cripps. He has got Elliott directly ahead. Tom O'Leary in second. Casino Fire, what an amazing start. He's on the back of Dan Herlock. Can't claim his tyre advantage here. Here comes Cripps. Brilliant amount of momentum there. He's come through Church, now going through Brooklands. It's going to be side by side already as we're coming down to the club for the first time.
This has been absolutely nuts. Just everyone's facial expressions are probably sharing the same passion here now, as we do see now Cripps being able to regain his position now, but it's not going to be for long. There is a humongous accident there. That's going to be one of the Infinities there in the YTF Racing of Allingston, I believe. And that's going to be another pit maneuver there. From the other Infinity, the colourful one that you like. And that's unfortunately another 3 cars that are going to have a rough start to this racing series here for tonight. As we do now see Adam Christopher in the Quartermaster Racing Cooper all over the rear now of what will be Brewster, I believe it is, in front of him. Now, still not going to be able to get past just yet. He has to retaliate to try and get his position back, as he did lose it, starting in P6, now down into P7, well, for the time being.
The top 8 have broken away. Then it is Callum Brewster that is on the back of Russ Elliott. Oh, big slide there. That's a number of cars. Seem to have gone for this very, very loose, very slidey way style of driving here in Thruxton. I mean, if it works, why not? So we got a bit of a replay of one of the incidents we've had to see Callum Brewster chucking his car in. This is Matty Arrington, his race already coming to an end here in Thruxton. So what happens to him? He's gone on the inside line of the Civic of Jordan Richardson. Oh, he just touched the grass, and then that's what catapulted him into the wall. So that is such a shame. Never want to see it, but it's Herlock from Via, from O'Leary, your top 3.
Dan Herlock now taking the fastest lap time of 1:13.8. It does show that it is starting to create a tiny bit of a gap there for himself. Well, a tiny bit of a gap is an understatement, to say the least. It does seem now this is where Dan Herlock will start to have his advantage here. Not in terms of tyre, but we do now see that the Brabham Motorsport Toyota, I believe it is, now under quite a bit of pressure now from Tom O'Leary in the Richardson Co. BMW behind him now. But it does seem he's starting to pull away just a tiny bit now. It's still not going to be enough just yet. The slipstream will still be quite strong, even though it is not the most slipstream reliant cars yet. But it does seem now the top 4 starting to separate a tiny bit.
A little bit, yes. So let's see who then a little bit further down. That's Cameron Brewster on the back of Russ Elliott. The 66 and 39 cars locked in their duel. That's Adam Christopher giving it plenty of slidey ways through Church then, and flirting with the grass on the outside line. That's a great amount of momentum then for, not for Brewster, beg your pardon, for Adam Christopher. Can he get the inside line? Coming through Brooklands. No, he bows out of that one before they get to the club chicane. Those curbs are lethal at the beginning part of the club chicane. You do not want to be hopping over them. They will absolutely hurt. I've seen for myself the effect that they can have. But look, going through the camera shot there, the Cedo Fire and Tom O'Leary very, very close to second. As again, everyone else in this particular group, very, very poised. Lovely slide there from, I think it was Russ Elliott. But Tom O'Leary, look at that BMW versus Toyota now coming through. Where they've gone through. It's so many right corners. It's difficult to know sometimes where they are. So that is Noble now going into Goodwood. So the BMW poised, but just the Toyota gets that momentum, keeps the car a little bit stable, a little bit more stable than the BMW. The BMW seems mighty in it's certainly getting the power down. Look at that! That's a wonderful slide. It may not be the quickest way of doing things. It looks fantastic.
It definitely does. I was going to say these two cars practically inseparable, but that has kind of completely changed my story here now. But can we see now why it's starting to pull away, or will Tom O'Leary keep making small mistakes like he has been doing, unfortunately, leading him to be a tiny bit more inconsistent? It does seem he is faster, but not as consistent now as Wire is currently being. But again, there's a saying that it's one thing being able to get past the driver, but it's also another thing. Well, hang on, that's not the saying. There's going to be one per... Oh, my days. Sorry. I was going to give...
Words are failing you on that occasion. It happens to us all. It happens to us all. A little bit further back, Jeff Fournier. He is now on the back of Jordan Richardson in the Civic. So, now the Civic proving a bit of a difficult piece to overtake. The number 97, that's one of our Infinities. So what can he do then? He's gone through the complex Campbell Cobb Seagrave. Now the left-hander of Noble towards the right-hander of Goodwood. Can't quite go full crank. Do have to feather the throttle a little bit. The Infinity have a look at the outside line as they're now coming towards Village. This flat-out right-hander. Then it is the next right-hander is Church here by this Marshall. And that's Tom O'Leary. Yeah, Tom O'Leary's got the momentum. That was down through Brooklands. So from Church through Brooklands and into Club, then the BMW has finally managed to usurp the Toyota. Took him a few laps to do it, but can he shake off Cito Vaya now? That's a great back shot camera there from the BMW. This is going to be a great opportunity to see whether the BMW can power away from the Toyota, or can that little Brabham Esports number 2 hang on to the back of Tom O'Leary. We will see. But right behind Cito Vaya, it's Callum Cripps. The man that's apparently ill with flu. He's doing a brilliant job. Qualified on the second row, and he's hanging on to fourth position at the moment. Someone's had a bit of in the third sector, but now Tom O'Leary getting a bit of momentum. Small mistake potentially from Cito Vaya that's dropped him off the back of the BMW. These things will benefit from slipstream, but only realistically up to about 0.8 of a second or so. They might feel very slight something at about a second's range, but generally they want to be within 0.8 before they start feeling anything of real note. But Cito Vaya very much racing in his mirrors as Callum Cripps is ready to pounce.
This is good for Tom O'Leary now, because obviously his teammate Callum Cripps, as you're just mentioning, who has the flu right now, is catching up to Wire, who is currently the competitor of Tom O'Leary. Yeah, but if he's able to get past, it's going to be quite a smooth sailing here for Tom O'Leary, because obviously they're going to lose a lot of time, and there's only now just over half of the race left to go.
10 laps remaining as the board was set. I kept saying Ross Elliott. It's Ryan Elliott. I think I do that every race. So apologies, Ryan. I will get it right one day. It's a little bit further back. Mitch Marine, the Calamity number 16. He is on the back of, that is Willis, in the number 85 Drake Racing Cupra. So, and then there's a great three-way battle going on behind them for 14th position between Down and Spooner, who started on the back of the field up into 15th position, and then Sam McCready in the number 98 Pixel 8 Esports Ford. So this great three-way fight here. Three very different cars, but all vying for the same bit of Hampshire real estate. That's absolutely fantastic. This is what touring car racing is really about, just these different marks and manufacturers stalled. Oh, speaking of, Jeff Fournier very, very close to the back of the Civic. Has he got the momentum? He's got the speed. He's gone the right-hander through Church right. He's now going through Brooklyn side by side, gets up into ninth. He'll have the inside line for Club. That is the overtake done, but the car's getting a bit uncomfortable on the braking. Can he get it slowed down? Yes, he does. That is Jeff Fournier up into ninth.
Yes, that move done really well. That really risky move as well. I could have went ending in tears pretty quickly there, but obviously with these cars not having ABS, you just saw the lockup happening through the final corner of Club there. But we go back on board now with Stephen McCready here, as he is still just actually starting to lose a tiny bit of time now. So do you see now Spooner being able to get past the two cars now, which is actually going to be a bit more promising here for him, as we know we do see the Honda under even more pressure now going into turn 2 as they go side by side here. He's still going to be able to keep it, but he's going to have the inside line. It's not going to work just yet. He tries to sneak it, but it's not going to work just yet for him.
Good effort, but didn't quite come off coming through the complex there. So he had the outside line for Campbell. Could not convert that into an overtake before. Forced to the outside of Seagrave. Nice effort. And still very much in the mix. You see how uncomfortable the cars look as they're trying to brake and turn. They're so loose. So they're about ready to kill the driver at any particular opportunity. Stefan McCready still in the tyre tracks of Sam Dowman. Oh, he's gone very close there. There's a nice bit of overspeed. Can he maintain the momentum? It looks like he's going to get the Honda on the outside line of Brooklands. Nicely done. That is Stefan McCready up into 15th position, and Sam Dowman knew it. He knew that at that particular moment that job was done. As now we see Callum Cripps trying to have a go at the Corolla of Cedo Fires. Skips over the apex at Cobb, doesn't gain him anything. Momentum, conservation of momentum is very crucial unless you force your opponent into a mistake. Cedo Fire just losing out valuable momentum there by going onto the grass, but somehow keeps his nose up into third. He's going to have the outside line though for Goodwood, and that is going to cost him the position. That's one tiny mistake costs Cedo Fire third place, and it potentially puts him at risk of losing another one, because right behind him is Ryan Elliott looking to try and demote the Brabham Esports Toyota even further.
Why are not having a single break during this race? Starting in P2, unfortunately going demoted down into P4 now, potentially P5 now. You see Ryan Elliott lurking going into club now. He's not going to go for the move just yet because it's probably the more sensible option as we go and start the next lap here. These curves being really, really brutal here for these cars, as we do see Ryan Elliott make an example there, almost spinning around there as we go on, and he does lose quite a bit of time there. This is going to be a bit more of an opportunity for Wyatt to try and catch up and retaliate here with, I believe it's Cripps in front of him now.
Absolutely. So Ryan Elliott at the tail end of this three-car train that Cripps is leading. So Callum Cripps up into the podium spots now. Dan Hurlock still leading the way by about 2 seconds now over Tom O'Leary. So it's a Beamer Brigade up front again. The number one RSR car leading the field as he has done all race long. The Richardson Co. BMW of Tom O'Leary, the 59 car in second position. There he is, the white and green accented car with fellow Richardson Co. number 69 Callum Cripps in third. And that is exactly what I saw Dan Hurlock doing. It looks fairly effortless for him, but and that's Callum Cripps getting the inside line of Cedo Vaya. That's on the inside line of Church, I believe it is. So the little Toyota losing out to the BMW on that occasion. Nothing more he can do. The momentum just not. So me of little faith. He tried to make the move, but Ryan Elliott won't be happy about that one. Cedo Vaya just chopping across his nose, sending the BMW into a bit of a spin. Cedo Vaya managed to actually control the slide, which put him in an almost optimal position for club. Oh dear, that one may go ahead of the stewards.
It definitely will do, but all of the battles are still anything from over now, as we do see Adam Christopher trying to get P5 here. As we do see, no, that's going to be the Cooper going a tiny bit wide here, and it's going to be pretty much an effortless move here from Adam Christopher, promoting himself into P5 there. We do see Barusa is not going to be very happy with himself just letting that position go that easy. It's not going to be too easy to get that position back either, now with only 5 laps left remaining.
Indeed, these races always disappoint. Wow, lovely move. A nice big slide there, Adam Christopher, giving it a bit of show. Why not for the cameras? The racing will do that for us, though. You don't need to add to the spectacle. The Adam Christopher up into 5th position now for Cordomas. He qualified well for this race and is holding on to a very well-deserved top 5 spot. So Callum Brewster, though, does not have the same air of comfort over Callum Wilson. The two side by side coming into club. The BMW's got the inside line. Again, I think Callum Brewster knew it and just had to let the BMW go there. We'll hang on to the tyre tracks as best he can to try and counter-attack in the next braking zone, which is going to be up at the complex, Campbell, Cobb and Seagrave. No braking going on here in Allard. So they sweep through the left-hander. Oh, there's Mitch Murray having a go at another one of the trade cars. So that is Ben Willis He's trying to draw side by side with on the exit of Allard. Can he do it when he gets up to the complex? He was the inside line for Campbell. No, the door gets closed in his face. Can't quite do it. Jordan Richardson in the Honda just behind. So as we always enjoy in this series, battles absolutely everywhere.
Marie trying really hard there going into the first corner and second corner. Really worked really well, or nearly worked really well for himself there. And as we do see, the slipstream might help him here going into Seagrave and Noble here. Does seem he's going to have to back off a tiny bit there because obviously it's a very sketchy corner. We've seen a lot of cars going quite sideways to say the least here. He will try to get the slipstream here. We can see now it's working quite well here as he's about to approach him, going side by side, potentially going into club. No, he's going to back off once again. Probably once again modeled a responsible way of doing it here. Now he goes side by side. Will he be able to get that momentum before the end of club here, or is he going to have to do it the hard way? As it does seem he's not going to be quite a bit of a fight here, to say the least here. But now we do see the Calamity car being able to get the move done very close between the two drivers, and that's going to be the end of this battle for at least the next race.
Brilliantly driven from both of them. I was expecting a big old tangled mess between Mitch Marie and Ben Willis there, but brilliantly driven from both of them. Well timed there for Mitch Marie. A little bit further back, Chris Shepherd in the Epic Racing Infinity. He is on the back of, that's Nathan Croak in the number 48 Craven Racing Cupra. So again, they're locked in a battle for what it may well only be 18th position, but they're fighting no less hard for it. With just 4 laps to go, it is, I would say, it is the quickest circuit in the UK. The lap time is very short, and there's a lot of right foot in every lap that we see. Get to enjoy fantastic racing as a result of it. But Dan Herlock has been unchallenged up top, but we have already seen what happens if you just flirt a little bit too much with the grass. It will bite you. So these guys can't ever rest until that checkered flag falls. Ben Willis still in a position where he can attack Mitch Marie directly ahead, but he has got Jordan Richardson in the Civic right behind. So that Civic is closing in. So there is a definite battle going on here for what is 11th position overall, with McCready not that far behind.
Well, see, so as I thought there was going to be a side-by-side there between Murray and I believe Willis. Once again, it didn't seem to happen though, as we do now see, as what you just mentioned, Richardson starting to gain time here on the two drivers ahead of him, just because how much they are battling. He's trying to retaliate for his position here, Willis, but it's not going to work just yet going through the second corner of Campbell and Cobb. Can he try doing it going to Seagrave? It doesn't seem so either. Again, just having to just wait until a perfect opportunity to do so. But now the drivers are going to be a bit more impatient going through the final few laps of the race now, trying to get these moves done as quickly as they can before the checkered flag here. Now Richardson being able to gain a lot of time going into Goodwood. Now this is where we obviously see these cars going sideways. No sort of sideways to be witnessed here, as this is where the slipstream is going to be happening here.
Ooh,
for all of the
don't get off the
drivers.
grass. Oh, you goodness me! You saw Ben Willis again, just playing dangerous with the grass. That is going to bite you sooner or later, sir. But Jordan Richardson very close now, much closer than he has been all race long, as they work their way through club for the penultimate +1 time. They are now starting lap 15. And Willis again having a look on the inside line coming up towards Allard. Need to be much further alongside to challenge there, sir. He wants to have a go as they come up towards Campbell, which is literally upon them. And Richardson ready to pick up the pieces if it all goes wrong, as Willis tries to outbrake Mitch Marie. Mitch Marie, brilliant car position. Wow, chops across the nose of the Drake Racing Cupra. But now that's given the momentum to the Civic, and then right behind them is Stephen McCready in the Infinity. So this battle is now going to go 4 cars deep for the remaining 1.5 laps. Superb.
This could only end in one way. This could only end in tears, to say the least, as these two drivers up front, the two Cupras, I believe they are, unless it's a Ford in front as well, just absolutely battling for probably the past, I believe, 6 or so laps here, as we do see now Richardson starting to drop off a tiny bit, which is now a really good opportunity for McCready to try and get that position done. Does seem it's starting to get a bit isolated between Willis and Murray, but this might be just going into the final corner of club, just braking as late as you possibly can without obviously locking up your car there. But we do now see this could be McCready just gaining a lot of time going through club for the penultimate time, as we do now enter the final lap, I believe.
Dan Herlock up front leads the way by 1.5 seconds. That gap has come down a little bit, but not enough for Tom O'Leary to challenge his one of his arch rivals, or certainly his main arch rival this season, besides Gianmarco Fiducci, who is not here to maintain his championship lead. Dan Herlock for RSR, the number one, the champion from last season, stamping his authority here in Thruxton. So just working his way through the final turns, through Brooklands, and now into, the car getting horribly uncomfortable going into the braking zone for Club. But your winner for race one here in Thruxton is the number one. It's Dan Herlock who takes the flag. Tom O'Leary once again chases him home in the Ritters & Co. BMW. Then the second of the Ritters & Co. cars, Callum Cripps, comes home to complete the podium. Then, there's another one of the Ritters & Co. cars getting really slidey ways out of Club. So Cedo Fire takes fourth. Adam Christopher fifth. A good result there in the quartermaster car. But look at this scrap. It is as we left it, and it will probably finish the way that we started watching this particular group of four cars. I mean, fair play to Stephen McCready. Closed right in, but didn't have enough time to challenge. A little bit further back, the Sam Dowman on the back for 16th position. Gets Club a little bit wrong. Tried to push a little bit too hard. Couldn't overcome Bruno Reyna there. Here's Nathan Croak. Oh, that's not how you do Club, sir. That's not ideal. That is Chris Shepherd, who in the last few corners has decimated his car. Most of it is still left at Club. So he loses that spot, just about comes home ahead of Smith. But wow, that's what Thruxton Racing is about.
Never gets old, to say the least. And we still have two more races. We're going to be sport here tonight, if obviously everything goes to plan. Obviously, it might be close. Obviously, with the I've got too many things going on at once right now. But what I was going to say, with that reverse grid, it's just going to make it so much more interesting. Even with obviously the competitive grid field that we currently have for race 1 and race 2 being as carnage as it has. If the top 6, 12, or I believe it's 8 aren't lucky to be in the positions they originally roughly qualified in, it might be carnage to another level, to say the least.
Well, we will see. Let's have a look at the results. Before Stewart's intervention, Dan Herlock takes the win. Tom O'Leary second, Callum Cripps third, Cedo Via in fourth, Adam Christopher fifth, Callum Wilson in sixth, Jeff Fournier in seventh, Callum Brewster in eighth, Ryan Elliott ninth, with Phil Morby rounding out the top 10 in the Drake Racing number 14. Mitch Murray 11th, Ben Willis 12th, Jordan Richardson 13th, Stephen McCready 14th, Max Spooner in 15th place, Bruno Reyna in 16th, Sam Dowman 17th, Nathan Craig 18th, Chris Shepherd 19th, and Alan Smith rounding out our finishers. Aaron Markham was a lap down, and Matty Annington sadly having that opening lap incident, careening backwards into the wall at Club, saw a very early end to the YTF Racing number 28 Ford Focus. So then, as mentioned, the drivers will have a very short break, or they'll have a brief practice session to make sure everything is still working as it should be. And then the grid for race number 2 is formed from the racing results of this first race. So Dan Herlock will once again be leading the way, and the rest of the field will do their warm-up lap, and we'll get going once again in their finishing positions from the previous race. This is such a great track. I've had the great fortune of commentating here a few times. It is one of my local circuits. It's never once failed to give us some incredible action. And I actually commentated cursed myself here one year. It was a couple of years ago. I thought to myself, I haven't commentated a wet round yet. You can kind of see where this story is going. It absolutely chucked it down on the Saturday. I was soaked. And we're looking here at Campbell Cobb and Seagrave. I was in the second commentary position, which is essentially just to our left. It is a shed on legs, basically. And I was soaking and freezing cold. The racing was still great, don't get me wrong, it was still a brilliant day, but I managed to commentate and curse myself with the weather. Well done, me.
It's more impressive, to say the least. Let's hope it doesn't rain here tonight. I don't think there's rain here in this championship, is there?
No, I don't believe so.
We're about to find out.
Well, yes. So there it is, 2.3 miles, 3.8 kilometers, 16 laps is how long, how many laps you can do in the approximate 15 minutes of each race. So third round of 10, I would say the first two have been absolutely superb. We did have to rerun race number 1 as it was originally in Donington Park. Sadly, due to technical issues, it had to be rerun. So it essentially extended the season by another round, which I am not complaining about whatsoever.
Me either. We do now wait until race 2 starts here. We have that formation lap as we did originally. It's going to be the same qualification order as probably all of you know by now. But will this mean Dan Hurlock will take a win for the second round, or will he potentially get a hat-trick, or will we see a new winner here to take away Dan Hurlock's one streak so far?
Well, I mean, considering how much he just ran off into the distance and then just moderated his pace thereafter, it certainly would be a sensible bet that Dan Hurlock will take, certainly this racing round. But will he be able to maneuver his way through the field in the reverse grid? It will be a minimum, I believe, of 6 positions reversed for race number 3. Now, as mentioned, it is a random decision on how many positions of the top 12 are reversed for race number 3. Now, that is decided by it's not decided per se by our producer. He has a wheel that he spins, and we will see the result of it. So it is random in the sense of he doesn't choose it, but we will see the random number generator do its thing right in front of us when we get to that point. Do that in the break between races 2, 3. So anywhere from 6 to 12 of the finishing positions of this race will be reversed. I love a reverse grid race. We're in the warm-up session at the moment, so this is why they are doing some speed at the moment, not just doing their warm-up, just doing the parade lap. So that's Sam Dowman that we're having a look at in the number 8 Civic. So there you go. So you see, they'll see a lot more of that. They kind of throw the nose in and let the car just drift. We're seeing a lot more of that in this particular round. So aerodynamics not really playing a part. There are a lot of high-speed turns, but the track is very, very wide. So they want to minimize the amount of drag because of the amount of time they are on the right foot for. But of course, that makes the car horrendously horrific to slow down. We saw how many times do we see cars getting really, really skitty here in Club, the heaviest braking point in the circuit? We saw it plenty of times. So that is part of the challenge of Thruxton, and certainly from a spectator standpoint, it is fantastic to watch.
Oh, 100%. I've got a new question for you.
Oh, right. Go on.
It's probably... Oh, my God. Smith came a bit loose there, still being able to save it there. But I'm an F1 watcher, so this is going to be a very heavily inspired question. It's nothing to do with F1, though. In terms of driver of the day for the first race, who impressed you the most so far?
Adam Smith, where are you going? That's a hard one, because again, you kind of expect Dan Hurlock to do exactly what he did. He qualified on pole, he ran off with it. He didn't have to do anything else. Tom O'Leary had a bit of a struggle start, and then fought his way back through the field. Cedarvire had a superb start and hung on to second as long as he could. But wasn't able to keep on to the podium spots. That's a really... I reckon that overtake from Mitch Marie that we saw, he just managed to get it done in time. Brilliantly done over, it was Bruno Reno, I think it was. But yeah, I've got to give that one to Mitch Marie. That overtake that we enjoyed going through Club was just brilliant.
Does seem so as well, as we do actually see Alan Smith, even though how wonky his first lap was seemed to be, is currently setting purple second number 1 now with a 5/10 decrease in the lap time. I'm not sure anyone's else on track, so that could be just him setting his fastest own lap time. We do actually know Samuel Dalman is on track as well for 1. Well, that's his target time actually, so I'm not sure what his time was, but gets really loose there into what I believe is Campbell. No, Cobb, one of the two. I get them all mixed up all the time.
It is actually surprisingly easy to do from some of the camera angles. It's difficult to know which fast right-hander you're looking at. So, no, I totally understand that. We are currently, that's Church that we are riding through now. So, the village we're riding through, we're about to hit Church. That is Church. They have to come down a little bit. They can't just go completely flat through Church. Now it's the slow, flowing, I should say, left-hander of Brooklands into Club once again. So yeah, it is really easy from some of these camera angles to get confused on which one of our fast right-handers we are looking at. There are plenty of them. So my very first visit to Thruxton, I remember I was in the pit lane that day. Slightly unusually for a racing circuit, both of the commentary positions are on the outside of the circuit. You usually have them both on the inside, or one in and one out. At Thruxton, they're both on the outside. Being that Thruxton is actually a functioning airfield, the primary commentator position is the air control tower. And so that is on the outside of the circuit. And the secondary commentary position, you won't quite see it from this camera angle, but it's just off the camera right here. It's here at Campbell Cobb and Seagrave. This camera won't go far enough, will it? No, it won't. It is, like I say, it is a shed on legs. You think motorsport is glamorous. I can assure you that place is not. But it's still a wonderful place to watch Thruxton racing from. But the first time I was here, I was in the pit lane, and there was a BMW, a 3 Series BMW that managed to lose its driver's door. I say driver's door, the right-hand door, because not every car is right-hand driver, granted. It managed to lose its driver's side door, the right-hand front door, and neither of the commentators knew because they couldn't see it. And so it was one of these things that when it came in, you see something and your eyes are like, am I actually seeing what I think I'm seeing? And it had lots of scrutineers go. He carried on racing. He actually finished the race with one door missing. Anyway, let's have a look at the starting grid then for race number 2 here in Thruxton. Dan Hollock, as we know, taking the toss. Tom O'Leary joins him. Then Callan Cripps and Cedar Vire will round out row number 2. So again, broadly where they were in the first race. Adam Christopher will join Callum Wilson on row 3 with Jeff Fournier and Cameron Brewster. I think I called him Callum Brewster earlier. Will be on row 4 with Ryan Elliott and Phil Morby on row 5. Mitch Murray and Ben Willis will have row 6. And further down the field, Jordan Richardson and Stefan McCready will have row 7, and Max Spooner will be joined by Bruno Reno for row number 8. Row 9 is Sam Dowman in his Civic with Nathan Croak and 48 Craven car for row 9. And then row 10 is Chris Shepherd. And row 11 will have Aaron Markham and Matty Allen. So hopefully we'll see a bit more of Matty in this event. So as we say, no one is able to run the option tire, the softer compound tire. It was decided before the race began that everyone for all 3 races will run the prime tire. So we won't have that one element of strategy being utilized here, which is a bit of a shame. But you've got to think that the amount of energy that goes through the tires when they are going at absolute full crank for lots of right-hand corners, the tires would just melt. So they are not forced to run them. It's a shame in one way, but it's completely understandable. I mean, it certainly didn't dilute the racing from the first race.
I generally think it's great, though, because it's made the racing more inclusive. And I think if we had, obviously, the 2 tyre sets here, I believe half of the battles that we saw here today wouldn't have been present.
I agree. Or they wouldn't have been, and they wouldn't have lasted as long, because those soft tyres would just turn to absolute sponge. Adam Christopher, I love that first top 5. Well deserved there, good sir. Thank you very much for that lovely comment there, Bernardo. We have one best motorsport culture in the world. Greetings from Portugal. Brilliant stuff. Yes, so very much enjoying the international audience. You are very welcome here to join us for some amazing racing here at Virtual Thruxton as Dan Herlock leads the field back towards the starting grid once again. I wondered for a brief moment there whether we were going to see one of the Infinities plough into the back of Adam Christopher, but didn't happen. I've seen it, not in this series, of course, but I have seen people misjudge someone else's braking coming onto a starting line. Right. For the second time tonight. Here, everybody's right foot getting a little bit twitchy. Engine revs rise. Wait for it. And away we go for the second time here in Thruxton. Another superb start from Dan Herlock. And again, another difficult start from one of the Richardson Co. BMWs. I think it was Callum Cripps was just bogged down again. Cito Viger's a good effort. There goes Adam Christopher thinking about an inside line. Coming up into Campbell. He's got the BMW. Bit of door banging. True touring car style. The BMW gives Adam Christopher a bit of a punch in the face back. But Adam Christopher's not having that. Bounces over the curb. Coming through Seagrave on the exit of the complex. Oh, and that's one of the quartermaster cars that's gone up in the background. So, who's that? Oh, is that? Is Callum Cripps getting all kind of slidey way? It's under pressure from Jeff Fournier. Oh, there's several cars gone off. There's Ben Willis. We've got Sam Dowman in the Civic. It was Max Spooner. Oh, no, he was starting in 15th position. So he is now down into the tail end of the field. He's lost his rear wing. There's Mitch Marie. Then he has got Ryan Elliott on his tail. With right behind them as Jordan Richardson, of course, the field very heavily condensed. Oh, that's the RSR BMW. How the hell did he save that? Well caught, sir. Sign that man up to the cricket team.
It's just been, again, as I predicted, it's just been so crazy here. Obviously, we're only on the first lap. As we do see, that was almost a free wide back there. I'm not sure who the cars are going into clubs, but it's not going to go well there. So that's going to be one of the only Vauxhalls here on the grid. Unfortunately, going off into club, they're going to lose a few positions, but that's going to be a BMW spun there. I'm not sure who that is. So that's going to be Ryan Elliott in the RSR car. Unfortunately, it's also going to do an awful rejoin there, and that's almost going to be him taking out Dowman there, going into the start-finish straight there as we go back on board now with the highest scoring quartermaster car here. This is the highest place he's been in the entire series so far here, representing quartermaster as always. As we get a replay on the race start here, do you see this was the move that got the quartermaster car unfortunately wrecked going into what is going to be Seagrove here.
Oh,
just
there it goes.
The car there. It gets happened to him as well.
And then gets spun out by one of the Civics. Oh, I mean, he was reacting to someone else's incident, and because they're so heavily concertinaed, that unfortunately he'd lost out on that occasion. Back up towards the front, though. Dan Herlock has not run off into the distance. Tom O'Leary is nailed to the RSR BMW's tail. Right behind them, Cedar Vire and Adam Christopher in their battle for third position with a lot of cars right behind them. It's RSR versus Richardson Co. Once again, it's Herlock and O'Leary for that top spot. Dan Herlock, fastest lap again, but Tom O'Leary in his tyre tracks, not letting him out of his sight. That gap continuing to fall as they head up towards the complex once again. Herlock bounces over the apex coming into Campbell. A little bit deep, but manages to get away with it. We've got another replay here of another incident that's happened. So this was Ryan Elliott's incident. So that he got really, really loose. Manages to catch it. That was where I started to the cricket team, and then it kind of went a bit wrong for him. So Jordan Richardson in the Civic right behind. The Richardson's gone for the move on the inside, has he? No, not quite. What happened? Oh, so if it wasn't contact, it was very, very close. It looked like he's been really, really loose leading up to that point, and then headbutts the ball trying to turn around. That was slightly unfortunate for him. But there we go. Thruxton's like a permanent straight circuit. If you fall, if you fail a bit, there's mercy. Well, it depends where you fall off the road, because you're generally going so quick that momentum will just carry you straight to the scene of the accident. Until Mitch Marie getting the tail all kinds of loose, coming through the club chicane. And then right behind him is Phil Morby for Drake up inside the top 10. Nicely done for him. And Chris Shepherd in the tail of that particular train. Adam Christopher still in fourth, but he's got Jeff Fournier, who's having a real stormer here in the Infinity, still keeping Cito via company. So Cito is still defending against him. He's dropped about a second behind the top two. So let us see then how this is going to shape out. Cito via, tiny bit of breathing space between himself and Adam Christopher. Lovely slide there from the quartermast Cupra, but is that gonna cost him a bit of momentum against Infinity? We'll have to see. There is a pair of the Richards & Co BMWs as Callum Cripps and Callum Wilson right behind. Oh, that's cast. Oh, that's a little bit too much apex there for Jeff Fournier. He caught it really early, so he was able to get the slide under control. But look how much momentum that cost him. That's essentially thrown him into the clutches of Callum Cripps.
Fournier becoming like lightning quick now, as we do now see Jordan Richardson all over the rear now of what's going to be Allington. As we do see that's going to be spin there, and that's unfortunately going to be, I believe that's going to be, who was that actually? That's Alan Smith in the Craven Racing Cooper, unfortunately just spinning going into club there, and now he has to try to defend his position here from Ben Willis. Now they're going to go side by side going into turn one here, going into Allard. He's going to have the inside line. It doesn't seem he's going to force it just yet as they still go single file, but this might be a good time to pounce here. Alan Smith going into turn two here of Campbell and Cobb.
Unfortunately there for Alan Smith. That's how costly a single mistake is when the field is this close. That's Phil Morby in the tyre tracks of Mitch Marie. So my nomination for certainly overtake of the race that we saw last time around. Our lead forward is Mitch Marie. They are riding on board with the Drake Cooper of Phil Morby. So right ahead you can see Callum Brewster. They're just bouncing over. That's Church. So we've just gone through now the long left-hander of Brooklands, leading into the almost deadly braking zone in these cars of Club. And again, you can just see from the car ahead of Mitch Marie's how uncomfortable these cars get under braking. You know, they're not really relying on any kind of aerodynamic drag. They've trimmed as much of it out as they can get away with. So the car gets really uncomfortable. No ABS, as he was saying earlier, Alex. Oh, that's a lot of curb there for Phil Morby. He's bounced very heavily over the apex of Allard. So that hasn't cost him too much momentum. And then right behind, that's Richardson going for Allington. Side by side as they're coming through Campbell. The Civic. Oh, what a great move there. Managed to wrong foot Matt Allington there. And that is up into 12th for the Civic.
That was a brilliant move there from Jordan Richardson in the Honda Civic, but it's not over just yet. There could be some retaliation there from the Ford now, but the safe bet that you were predicting on Dan Hurlick is not as safe as it originally was here. But it does seem now Tom O'Leary's starting to lose a tiny bit of time here from Hurlick, but he is gaining it back now. So I'm starting to assume if he's made some sort of mistake in a previous lap or so, but he is starting to gain it back now. It's down to 5 tenths. It's the lowest it's been since the start of the race, but going into Club for the 6th time here, he is being able to go all over the rear of Dan Hurlock. Once again, he might be able to go for a move in the next lap or so here as we enter on to lap 7.
Look at the pack that's formed behind Cito Vaya, though. These two, once again, breaking away from the rest of the field. But the Brabham Toyota has got a absolute wave of cars behind. As you can see at the top of the shot there, a bit of a slide there from Tom O'Leary, but that seems to be the modus operandi here in Thruxton. So oh, that's a mistake from Hurlock. Is that going to cost him? That tiny mistake, that kicking up a little bit of dust, is going to cost him a bit of momentum. That's going to allow O'Leary to close right in. So that's going to enhance the aerodynamic, or certainly the slipstream effect, rather, that the Richards & Co BMW is getting. Now under 4 tenths of a second, near enough, between the two BMWs. Not too much braking going on. Coming through Church once more. So Dan Hurlock just getting his lines back, getting his momentum built up again. He may have just about got away with it, but that's the last thing he needs to be doing, is showing weakness. Tom O'Leary seems to have a bit more of an advantage here coming into Club. Looks like a bit more of a defensive line from Hurlock. Could be just different choice of line. But Tom O'Leary, that seems to be where he's gaining, is that breaker zone into Club. Oh, they're very close now, nearly being pushed along. Here's Dan Hurlock. So Tom O'Leary with the new fastest lap. We did see a 13.0 from Hurlock in the first race, so there's more time to be shaved off of that. But Tom O'Leary now all over the back of the RSR BMW. Where is he going to find that chink in the armour? Has he managed to force that mistake? A bit of a slide of the tail from Hurlock there coming out of Club, but no harm, no foul on this occasion. Now it's all right foot from here through Noble, through Goodwood. Then there's the left-hander of Noble. There'll be just a bit of a tiny bit of braking. Can't quite go through Goodwood as fast as they would like. see the different lines being used there. Dan Hurlock staying much closer to the inside line, coming through Goodwood, coming through Village, whereas you see Tom O'Leary using much more of the track, so letting the car just wander and keeping that momentum as good as he can. But it seems to be working pretty well for Dan Hurlock, amazingly. He manages to build that little bit of a gap back up to pretty much where it was before he flirted with the grass. But here, Tom O'Leary seems to be able to close in a bit, although on this occasion, Dan Hurlock's absolutely nailed it. Tom O'Leary has no answer to that.
I'm starting to think now, what's it called? Leary's tyres have just fallen off now off its primers. Now we can see now Dan Hurlock being able to set the fastest lap time of a 1:13.1 there. As now we can see this could be Wire and Christopher both going at it, going into turn 2 here. He's going to have the inside line now, the quartermaster car. There's going to be a tiny bit of door rubbing between the two, as we do now see the Richardson Co car trying to put a bit of pressure there on the Infinity of Fournier now, as we do see he's trying to collect the scraps of the Wire and the quartermaster car battle here, but now he's being collected in his own battle to try and pray for mercy from the Richardson Co's cars behind him to try and keep his place of P5.
Oh, Callum Brewster's getting a move! Oh, and that is Callum Cripps basically barging, well, not quite barging his way, but certainly elbows out, getting his way past the Infinity of Jeff Fournier. So that was so close to impact. I don't believe there was there, but now Adam Christopher leads this particular group in a podium spot for Quartermaster. Superb. And Fournier having to go again at Cripps, so that momentum has been lost slightly, at least, or certainly enough, from the Richardson Co BMW as the Infinity gets into the slipstream. Macedo Via nearly hits the back of the Brabham Toyota coming through. Oh, it gets very loose coming through Club, and now the momentum swings back towards Callum Cripps with Wilson and now Callum Brewster involved. There's a lot of C's in this particular lineup. So you've got Fournier that has managed to wrestle that 5th position back. Oh, has he though? Look on the inside coming up towards Campbell. Not quite. Couldn't quite do it. Could the Richardson Co BMW? Macedo Via nearly pushing Adam Christopher through the complex. It's difficult to know where to look. A great back camera there from Jeff Fournier looking at the nose of Callum Cripps in the Richardson Co BMW. Goodness me, it's almost impossible to call. There's so much going on.
It's so unpredictable now, but I'm still stunned that Fournier was able to maintain his position there after we did see Cripps almost going for it then on the previous lap now. But it does seem he's going to have the slipstream now, as well as pretty much all of the cars in this train actually. But now he's going to try again once again on why he gets a really good momentum here going into Brooklyn Shire. It's going to go practically neck on neck here going into clubs now. It's all going to be down to who's got the bigger balls in terms of braking here. It does seem it's going to be Wire, but it's going to be very sideways here. Can he recover it? No, he cannot. Actually, yes, he can. He's going to lose a few positions. Unfortunately, he's going to still go side by side there with the Cooper, but he's going to unfortunately lose all those positions. But that could have went a lot worse there for the Brabham Motorsport driver.
I thought he was going to detonate Callum Brewster there. I think... Oh, Tom O'Leary has managed to get the lead from Dan Hurlock. Well, but then he's wrong-footed himself coming through Campbell, Cobb and Seagrave. Now Dan Hurlock's got the momentum inside line coming through Noble, but then it's switched, out of Seagrave, now through Noble. Then all the RSR BMW is all over the place under the brakes. Outside line of Goodwood is never going to pay off. So Dan Hurlock only just managing to wrestle the lead back from Tom O'Leary.
That was excellent racing, to say the least. It was just, well, pretty much mere millimeters of the mistake there from O'Leary that nearly caused him to give that position back. But it did seem there was a mistake there from Hurlock, which caused them to go side by side there, going into Allard for one of the final times here. As we do see, he was able to get practically the majority by. In fact, he did get by at one point now, but going back into Campbell here, this is where he breaks a bit later. Yeah, but it's still going to be side by side, but now having the advantage here, this is going to be where Hurlock was going to get the inside line here. But where was the mistake that happened here? It was here, the switchback, I believe. Yeah, going into, I believe, is it Goodwood? Yes, it is Goodwood. He gets the inside line, which is just going to be so crucial here, and he gets his position that he's rightfully owned for the entire race back.
Oh, that RSR BMW looks so difficult to control. Back up to this, what is now a 4-car group with 2 trailing it, with Adam Christopher. He must feel like the world is on his shoulders at the moment. It's Jeff Fournier right behind. Then it's another pair. A pair of the Richardson Co BMWs. It is Cripps from Wilson So Callum Wilson at the back of this particular train with Callum Cripps in the 69 car, right in that mixture. So will the Richardson Co Racing BMWs fight each other if one gets the run? I wouldn't think so. I would think they are going to play the tactical game here, but there is no kind of strategic thinking going on. It is as much right foot as they dare deploy. Wilson having a look on the inside line of Cripps, but he isn't going to sacrifice his teammate as they now come through club once again. Fournier trying to get that momentum, trying to wrong foot Adam Christopher, who's holding on to a well-deserved podium position. Here comes Callum Cripps, but can't quite draw alongside before they come through Allard once again. Fournier adopts a bit more of a defensive line, a very defensive line as they come up towards Campbell, Cobb and Seagrave once again. The BMW tries to outbreak the Infinity alongside as has he got the move done? Oh, and barging his way through, not quite. Jeff Fournier not standing for that. Callum Wilson tried to follow his teammate through, but the Infinity says denied, sir. As Fournier then reclaims, well, just about hangs on to fifth position. A little bit further back, Jordan Richardson in the Vapor Shield Honda Civic on the back of Phil Morby, the Drake Racing entry. In the holding on to the top 10s, the Civic thinks about an inside line coming through Goodwood, can't get it to stick. Right behind Richardson is Chris Shepard, another one of the Infinities for Epic Racing. He's got ringside seats for the battle ahead. He can't just relax. So Matt Allington and Stefan McCready not too far behind. Whoops, there's a little bit of dust being kicked up there from, I think it was Morby. It may have actually been Mitch Marie, I beg your pardon, who is leading this particular train. It's the Civic now, cutting the inside line coming in. Oh, that's Dan Herlock. Oh, that's our race leader. He's gone too wide. That's Allard. He's gone off the road and hit the wall. Oh, my goodness me. So the rough racing, or the very intense racing, I should say, between O'Leary and Herlock has sent the RSR car off into the wall. He is in all kinds of trouble. Oh, that's a wounded car.
I think we're all in shock after that. He was just leading that for so long as well, just to unfortunately practically ruin it on the final few laps now as we get a replay on what happened here. It seems going through Allard, he did just go a tiny bit wide. I'm assuming he might have touched the grass on the entrance here as we go into it. No, he does. Oh no, he gets a bit of contact there with what is going to be O'Leary there, so I'm assuming he broke a tiny bit too late. Well,
he was very well, I don't know what that was. A bit of a strange one. I wonder if it was lag or something like that. There was some kind of technical issue because he suddenly slowed very heavily on the apex, and then Tom O'Leary had nowhere to go but to send the RSR champion into the wall. So, but as we concentrate now on this battle for third, which may well turn into a battle for second if Dan Herlock can't hold on for long enough. There's less than 4 seconds between this group and the RSR number one, as that's Jeff Fournier having a look on the inside line, coming into Allard once more against Callum Cripps. So who's got the momentum here? The Infinity was able to, but couldn't quite draw alongside or ahead of Callum Cripps. And now here comes Callum Wilson, outside line coming into Campbell. Great move, and he's got him. Oh, wow. Fournier, from trying to be the aggressor, has been the loser on that particular one, demoted down to 6th. Then right behind him is Callum Bruce and Cedo Vaya. So another battle is chasing on, but Jeff Fournier trying to get that momentum back again on the Richardson Co BMW. Now coming through Goodwood into Village. Fournier's got the momentum. He's got no space though. The BMW giving him no room as that's Adam Christopher under pressure from Callum Cripps. Side by side, but Adam Christopher's got the inside line. It doesn't matter. Around the outside, Callum Cripps denies the opportunity of the podium to Adam Christopher unless the quartermaster car can do something about it. Jeff Fournier, what a move. Had the momentum coming out of church, reclaims that position, but Callum Cripps now up into the podium with one more lap to go.
That was probably some of the closest racing we've seen all of today here. Daniel Herlock there, probably a bit bummed out now. He has lost a lot of time there to Tom O'Leary, now 5.4 seconds. Unfortunately, between the two drivers there. Adam Christopher now actually gaining a tiny bit of time once again on Callum Cripps between the two drivers before the podium there, but on board with Thomas O'Leary with the Richardson Co car, which has had probably the easier race to say the least compared to his two teammates who have been absolutely grueling it like the purge here for positions. But we do see now Tom O'Leary with a very comfortable lead and most likely going to take the win here for race 2.
I would say so, as he's now unchallenged. Dan Herlock, though, he's losing time as Callum Cripps is now defending against Jeff Fournier for 4th place. Oh, is the quartermaster car going to hang on? He's coming through Goodwood now. He's still got a few corners to go. That's going to be a difficult defence there for Adam Christopher as through club for the final time in race number 2. Your winner is going to be Tom O'Leary. Takes that top spot. Does Dan Herlock hold on to second? He does indeed, but that car is severely wounded. They'll be able to patch it up. Oh, Adam Christopher having a go at the line. Can't quite do it, though, but less than a tenth separated Cripps and Christopher as they came over the line. So it's Callum Cripps from Adam Christopher, Jeff Fournier in 5th, Callum Wilson 6th, Callum Brewster in 7th, Cedar Vire 8th, Mitch Marie 9th, Phil Morby rounds out the top 10. All rapid fire as they came over the line.
Seems so as well. Alan Smith going in to take P17 here for race 2, as long as we do see Samuel Dowman as well coming through club for the final time to take P18 for the Vapor Shield racing cars now, as we do see, I believe it's Nathan Croak who is in P19 now going through club, unfortunately not having a race he probably wanted here as he comes across the line here in P19 after I believe he was one of the victims of, I believe it was turn 1, I believe that spun him around. It might be in the other incident that occurred, but that was probably some of the best racing we've seen here. Well, no, I know I say that every race here, but it's just it's true.
That's the thing, isn't it? Is that the racing is so intense and so close. It is so amazing to see. I mean, we thought Silverstone a couple of weeks ago was good. This is proving to me something quite spectacular. So then, before Stuart's intervention, let's have a look at how the race results for race number 2 sit. Tom O'Leary from Dan Herlock. Callum Cripps rounding out the podium 3. There's Adam Christopher in 4th, Jeff Fournier in 5th, Callum Wilson 6th, Cameron Brewster in 7th. I've been calling him Callum Brewster all night. Cameron Brewster in 7th, Cedar Vire 8th, Mitch Marie 9th, and Phil Morby rounding out the top 10. Chris Shepard 11th, Jordan Richardson in 12th, Stephen McGreedy 13th, Matty Allington in 14th, Bruno Reno in 15th, Ben Willis in 16th, Alan Smith 17th, Sam Dowman 18th, Nathan Croak 19th. Unfortunately, Ryan Elliott exited stage right. Aaron Markham and Max Spooner also not seeing the flag on this occasion. All right, it is time to decide how many of that finishing grid will start in reverse order. So it could be anywhere from the top 6. There's 2 6s. Well done, production. Never mind. We will... No, 1 to 9, you fool. They just look like 6s from here. One's an Australian 6. We'll call it that. Right. Spin it, production. Let's go. Thing is, production, you've conned me on that one. I'm blaming you for that. All right. It's top 8. So those that finish in the top 8 will have their positions reversed. So the car that finished 8th, I've already forgotten who it was. I nearly took a picture of it and I forgot. Will start on pole. And then the car that finished 7th will start second on and on and on. Oh, Pseudo Fire will start up. I believe he had a reverse grid pole 2 weeks ago as well. So Pseudo Fire then will be starting on pole position for the reverse grid race. Well, he has proven he can defend here for at least a period of time. So we will see then how that progresses, or how he is able to defend against everybody. But the reverse grid race does tend to be the one to generate the most carnage, I think it's fair to say, in our opening laps. So I don't expect this to be any different. It's going to be when they come up into the complex, into Campbell that first time. Allard, I'm not expecting there to be too much. Well, there'll be a fair bit of door banging going on, but there's no braking going into there on the first occasion. So that's turn 1. So as you're looking at the map, Allard at turn 1 is the one at the very northern end, if you're thinking of north, south, east and west. And then sweep through the left-hander into Cablecom and Seagrave, that first chicane-like sequence of corners, top right-hand corner of the map. That is otherwise called the complex. Into there, I'm expecting the first lot of carnage is when they complete the lap. They come through Club, which is the top left-hand chicane, as we're looking at that. that's when we're going to see probably the biggest amount of carnage on the opening lap.
Oh, 100%. I'm not expecting anything less.
Absolutely true. It's good to see some interaction in chat. I am keeping an eye on what's being said. Yes, I bet you enjoyed that, Mr. Christopher. I bet you did indeed. So fair play. It was a good result there for the Quartermaster car. So who is going to come out on top in this particular event? Make it known, chat, who you're here to support. And who do we think is going to come out on top? Is Cito Via going to come out on top, or will he be swallowed up by the pack? We will have to see. So as a reminder, where do we travel to after here? What's going to be our next venue after Hampshire? It's Donington Park, where we tried to open the season, but sadly that didn't quite happen. So that will happen in 2 weeks' time on this very channel on 24th of July. So please do join us for that. It is going to be epic, as every race has been thus far. Oh, and breathe.
100%. You need a little breather break here as we get ready to go green for race 3. Obviously, we have that parade lap as usual, where we do get to display and all over the beautiful liveries that we always mention. I'm not sure. Did you and John mention them at all during Silverstone? Or
I can't remember.
I'll give you that. I forgot about the warm-up here as we're now on board with the Infinity of the Epic Racing team. I'm not sure which driver it is. Chris Shepherd's going really loose there into what is going to be Goodwood there. Probably one of the only cars that is actually currently still out on track right now. It does seem to be quite sparse a track here.
Yeah,
probably everyone just having a bit of a snooze.
Well, I don't think I blame them.
I don't either.
I mean, we will have a few races in VR. When I used to do sim racing, I was a VR user, and God, you sweat when you've got head-mounted displays on. It is quite something. Oh, we've got one of these. Is that one of the Craven cars? Who is that? Oh, Tiago Lopez. I don't know. That's not Thruxton. Well, it is, but it's not a bit I'd recommend you driving. I'm not sure. Have we seen Tiago tonight? I'm not. We have.
Not too many times.
I think we've had a late joiner. Well, fair play. We have seen Tiago in the season, just not tonight. But there's Chris Shepherd. I think the only car that is actually circulating. One other thing. Oh, Matty Allington is out as well in the YTF number 28. So he's just come out in his Focus. One particular tale I can regale. Now, as mentioned, Thruxton is actually a functioning airfield. Only very small aircraft can land at Thruxton. The runway is very, very short. But the paddock is right next to it. And my very first time to Thruxton, I remember I was chatting to some of the drivers. This was on the day before racing was going to start. It was essentially the Friday evening before the weekend. And an aircraft was coming into land. And I genuinely thought it was going to actually hit my head. It was coming in that low, obviously, because it was coming to land. And I thought, I'm going to have to duck under this thing. It's like 50 feet above my head, but you don't expect to see an aircraft that close to your face. Nathan Craig, he's a VR user and he's melting. You have my sympathies, because I remember how much I used to absolutely sweat. 2 laps of practice starting to pay off. Oh, fair play, Mr. Fortier. You did a brilliant job in that race.
Got to say, though, I've never been to Thruxton in real life, but I reckon you need to work in advertising for Thruxton, because you're making it very appealing for probably quite a few people right now.
Thruxton spokesperson. Honestly, go and it will speak for itself. It is a brilliant, brilliant place. It's not particularly hard to get to, as far as some circuits are an absolute pain to get to, but Thruxton not so much. There's Jeff Fournier's teammate, Chris Shepherd. Sees that nose, he's really reluctant to turn. It bounces quite a bit. I wonder if that's slowing him down a little bit. Oh, Mr. Croak. I'm upset with you. You can't stand this track. How dare you, sir? I was about to say I've never driven it. That's not entirely true. I've never raced it. I've never actually raced it in virtual guise, but I did do for my 30th birthday, which was a long time ago. I did a track day here, and I did I managed to drive a Ferrari 430 around this. Obviously, you don't race them, but you do give it a fair amount of beans. And so I can actually say I've driven a Ferrari around the circuit, and braking coming into here, into Cabell Common Seagrove, God, it is like being punched in the stomach. That thing slowed down very well, which was a good thing too, because I was a bit late on the brakes and I couldn't afford the repair bill. Okay. Nathan Croak, you have redeemed yourself. Donington is a fabulous circuit. Big fan, and I don't. If I was to give a preference, it probably would be Donny over Thruxton, although Thruxton is closer to me. Donington's not a difficult circuit to get to. It just takes a while from here. Donington's a brilliant place, though. So, yeah, I'll give you that one. God, I don't know what would be my favourite track to race on, come to think of it. So I've never raced at Thruxton in any way, but as I have driven it. As the session now switching over to our third and final race now. The grid will have been formed. So we'll wait for all the drivers to join the session. So then we have got our grid ready to go. So who is going to be starting where? Let's see. Who is going to be... So it's Cedo Via from Cameron Brewster on our front row. Callum Wilson and Jeff Fournier on the second row. On row 3, it was Adam Christopher and Cannon Cripps. Row 4 will be Dan Herlock ahead of race winner Tom O'Leary. So everybody from 9th downwards is starting in their finishing position from the previous race. So Mitch Murray and Phil Morby take on row 5 with Chris Shepherd, Jordan Richardson in row 6. Oulton Park, I had my first visit there this year. Brilliant place. Stefan McCready and Matthew Allington will have row 7. Bruno Reyno and Ben Willis will have row 8. Then it is Alan Smith and Sam Doman on row 9 with Nathan Croak and Ryan Elliott on row 10. Ryan, of course, not finishing the previous race, so expect a bit of a charge from the RSI BMW. Aaron Markham and Max Spooner on row 11 with the late joining Tiago Lopez in the Grow Racing number 84, standing in for Joel Belto in the RSR Astra. Right. Yes, Oulton Park had my first visit there. I commentated there for my first time this year, and that's another great place. Absolutely loved it. I think if I come to think of it, about the only English circuit I haven't worked out yet that I can immediately think of is Croft. That's the one place I haven't been to yet. But hopefully will one day. So if you were to pick a British circuit that you have raced out or been to, Mr. Newman, what would you choose as your go-to track?
I thought I was saving a question. I was trying to turn my light on. In which way, racing or broadcasting?
From either, but one for each.
Okay. Again, you put me on the spot here. I've only got to see the inside of one commentary booth before, and that was Silverstone, which is brilliant. Which box did you see? Because there are several. Again, brilliant question. I'm not sure. It was near the paddock. Okay, so was it near the old start finish line? Yes. That's a brilliant box. That's a really, really good box. In terms of racing, though, it has to be Thruxton. You always have such high expectations. Oh, is that someone backwards off the road? Sorry, Alex. That's completely fine. Are you sure? Someone go, what? They exited stage left. I thought they were backwards. So I was like, someone really has to. Kyle Army, brilliant circuit. Haven't been there. My good lady lives in South Africa, so I hope to go there one day. Right. One day says our production man. Right.
enough waffle. For the third and final time tonight, it is time to wind them up and let them go. So who's got the greatest start? Well, Dan Hurlock's got an absolutely cracking start yet again from down on the fourth row alongside Adam Christopher already as they're coming through Allard. So let's see who behaves himself. Good effort from Cedo Fire to give himself a tiny bit of breathing space. Jeff Fournier is challenging for third position. He's having to go a second on the outside line of Campbell. Very nicely done. Someone exploring the Hampshire countryside. And it didn't pay off for Jeff Fournier. But Adam Christopher giving as good as he gets, defending the inside line, coming out of Seagrave. Oh, that's trouble in the background. Someone doing some lawn mowing. That's Dan Hurlock and Tom O'Leary. Oh, that was nearly contact there. Was that Ryan Elliott that was in trouble? No, it was Ben Willis that was going a very scenic route. There's Ryan Elliott. Not had a great start in the RSI BMW. Jeff Fournier is having a look on the outside line of Brewster. So he's had to bow out of it a little bit. Now coming through Goodwood. He's going to try and pick up the momentum here. Now beg your pardon, that was Church, excuse me. Now it's Brooklands. He's in the slipstream of Brewster. Brewster going to that defensive line as they're heading down towards the braking zone of Club for the first time in anger. This is where I thought we'd see the biggest incident. It looks like everybody's behaving themselves, although Adam Christopher nearly gets a boot full of Hurlock coming through Club. A little bit further back is Jordan Richardson. He's got his rear view mirrors completely full of Matt Allington and Bruno Reno. Reno getting the inside line, coming into Allard. That's 14th position going to him. Nicely done. Oh, so that's someone that's gone a little bit wide coming out of Allard. No idea who. We couldn't quite see it. But it's fire from Wilson, from Brewster, your top three.
Dan Hurlock having to use every opportunity right now to try and gain his position. So unfortunately, starting in P8 with now going up into P6, currently P7 unfortunately being demoted here instead of promoted. It does seem he's getting a bit loose there with the Richard Decode card there. He gets really loose going into Goodwood there. Unfortunately going back into his original position here. Now he's to go side by side here with what is going to be Tom O'Leary here. As both now contenders for the race win, as we saw on the last two races here. He gets very wide there and very loose going into Church. It does seem Tom O'Leary is going to be able to regain that position back here. Daniel Hurlock not going to be too happy with himself here, as it does seem we go further back into the grid now. There's going to be Stephen McCready in the middle of this huge pack that is starting to form here, as we see Richardson behind him just looking for any sort of time to pounce here, as well as we can see it's going to be the Ford ahead of him trying to go on the Epic Racing Infinity, as it's going to go into Allard for the third time here for tonight, and it doesn't seem it's going to be able to make any sort of moves just yet.
Riding on board with the Pixelate Esports number 98 of Stephen McCready as he is looking at Miss Marie. Have a go, Shepherd. Oh no, they come together. Now front wheel drive car, scrabble drive, point the nose and boot it. It has managed to just about keep them both facing the right way. Ooh, there might be words said about that one, but either way, I think that was, yeah, you saw there. They realised the mistake was made. That was Mitch Marie letting Chris Shepherd through, but unfortunately he's lost the position to McCready as well. Fair play, good sportsmanship there from Mitch Marie, conceding the overtake there that he got. There's Jordan Richardson challenging. Oh, that was a tiny bit of impact, but they just about survived it. There's dust being kicked up all over the place. My goodness me. Oh, hello. That is Callum Wilson having a go at Cedo Via for the race lead. The Richardson Co BMW getting past the Brabham Esports Toyota. Then it is a Brewster from Christopher behind. So, and then it's an absolute army right behind Jeff Fournier.
This is kind of what Wire wants, though. They want all of these cars to start fighting here, so they lose time here. But what we've seen is some of these battles can be really short but really intense, but some of them can go on for ages, like we saw about the Dan Hurlock one and the Tom O'Leary one earlier. As we do see, this could be a big optimistic lunge there from Dan Hurlock onto the Epic Racing Infinity there. It's not going to work for him just yet. Fournier just closing the door in time, but it does seem that O'Leary's got a big advantage here compared to his main rival Dan Hurlock, as he's been able to get by the barrier currently, which is going to be Fournier in this case. This is going to be brilliant news for O'Leary, as he's already been able to create about a few tenths of gap here, and Fournier is not going to make it easy for Dan Hurlock to get by. We have a yellow in sector 1. I'm not sure where that's going to be. In your case, probably exploring the Hampshire countryside, but it does seem everyone's starting to settle down a tiny bit, apart from Dan Hurlock. They're taking a lot of curve there going into Church. They're gaining a lot of time on the Infinity.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dan Hurlock was really, really unsighted coming into Campbell. That's why he couldn't complete the move against Jeff Fournier. Was a bit of door banging going on, but no harm, no foul on this occasion. Tom O'Leary hasn't been able to break away too far, as that's Jordan Richardson nearly side by side and really wait with Mitch Marie right behind him. It's costing that tiny bit of momentum. Bruno Reyno now trying to demote the number 16. That another position manages to do so before they get through Allard. But lead the way, it's the Vapor Shield. I beg your pardon, no, it's not leading this particular group. It would be Stefan McCready that's leading this group side by side again. What's that Mitch Marie that was having to go there? Well, he's got all kinds of action going on right behind him. It's difficult to know who's trying to defend and who's trying to attack. Oh, and that's the Vapor Shield Civic, and also one of the that's one of the Pixelate cars, I think it was. No, it wasn't. It was Randy Allington that was also going. Oh no, that's Stephen McCready. That is. Oh no, it's absolutely torpedoed the side of someone. Oh no, you never want to see it. Oh dear, there will be some words. Oh, big one. I thought it was Stephen McCready that was doing the torpedoing. I beg your pardon, it wasn't. He was fine. So, oh dear, that's gone horribly wrong for somebody. So Mick Marie and Nathan Croak now out of this race. Not sure whether they were both involved in that particular incident, but I suspect there was certainly more than one car involved in that particular goings on. So your top 6 then up almost all together. Callum Wilson's got a little bit of breathing space for Richardson Co in the treble 4. But then it's Via from Brewster, from Christopher, from Chris, from O'Leary, your top 6.
Brilliant start so far. Of course, we expect incidents when stuff like this happen. It's, some could say, a bit abnormal if we don't see it. And now we do see O'Leary now carrying a P6, trying to fight his teammate almost now as he starts gaining a tiny bit of time going into Goodwood here. But it does seem now Adam Christopher, who's been, can we just mention how brilliant he's actually been so far in terms of this race so far as we get a replay.
So he got unsighted by the Vapor Shield. Yeah, he's just a complete passenger at that point. And then unfortunately, the car that unsighted him was Richardson. And then Mitch Marie, there was nothing Mitch Marie could have done at that point. I wondered whether he was trying to straight line the car to try and find a gap, but he'd already spun. That's the thing, that the traction had given up on him as then gravity is then taken over. That's a little bit too bouncy. I think physics are having a bit of a day off there. But that's such a shame for both Mitch Marie and also Jordan Richardson. But that's racing. That's the nature of Thruxton, though, because it's such a fast circuit, because you'll go at full crank for so long. When it does go wrong, it goes usually very spectacularly wrong.
Usually happens as well coming into the third race, not only because of obviously the circumstances that we are currently in with the reverse order, but just all of the drivers starting to feel a bit tired now after having 2 complete action-packed full of racing here. But now it's started to separate. It's becoming more and more isolated between the packs here, so it is going to be a bit more easier for the drivers to focus to try and get past these drivers here as we go on board with Allington here. One of the drivers currently done in P18, looking to get this move done. The downwind here goes very loose there, going into what I believe was Church. I might be wrong there, but he doesn't gain enough time there as we do see Adam Christopher now. Who is that? Is that Brewster? Yeah, trying to get past Brewster here for position, as we do also see is going to be the Richardson Co of Callum Cripps just lurking behind, as well as his teammate trying to look for any scraps here as they go side by side here, going into Allard here. Can he try and promote himself up into P3? Yes, he can. Gets the move done instantly there, but we do go into into corner 2 now of Campbell. This is going to be where the most overtaking opportunities are going to happen, as we do see now that is going to be the Creeper, unfortunately losing the 2 places here from the Richardson Co cars. It's still going to be side by side there, as we do see though it is going to be Brewster still being able to hold on for P5, but for how long now, as we do see O'Leary just lurking along the inside line going into now what I believe is going to be Noble.
Oh yes, you're correct, that left-hander was Noble. We're now coming into Goodwood. I will say the Richardson Co BMWs are working brilliantly well together. That's Dan Herlock that is trying to keep up with the aforementioned Richardson Co BMWs, just running out of run there. What you're seeing is, I would take Tom O'Leary and Callum Cripps as a prime example, although we've seen it from various combinations of the Richardson Co Beamers. where one of them will challenge for a position, wrong foot the car they're trying to overtake, and the second one is following in the slipstream, following in the tyre tracks of the one that's just made the move. So brilliant teamwork going on by Richards and Co. As we now see Ryan Elliott having a go, trying to get past one of the quartermaster cars. Oh no, there's contact between them. Well, he had no choice but to take to the escape route there. That's Max Spooner that's had to take to the escape route there. But well held there. That could have gone horribly wrong for the quartermaster guy. He did manage to keep that one pointing in the right direction. He continues his assault on Ben Willis. Now coming up towards Campbell Cobb and Seagrave. That RSR BMW really loose of Ryan Elliott. Now with Matt Allington in the Ford right on their tail. So as always, it is action all over the place as the Focus now does a bit of lawn mowing. That won't be too detrimental at this point because they're now going through Noble, now into Goodwood. So he won't have lost too much from that, but you can see Ryan Elliott trying to make up lost ground, but it's taken him a while to try and cut through the field. Bear in mind, he started near the back. He's trying to get past Max Spooner, and the quartermaster guy is going to have the inside line through Village, now into Church. But Max Spooner has managed to keep the RSR BMW at bay. He's gone too deep. That's going to cost him. That's a little bit of momentum it's lost. It was all the RSR BMW needed to take that 15th place.
Very tight move indeed there between the two cars, but it's not over yet. Max Spooner trying to retaliate to try and regain his position going into Club. There's going to be contact there. It's going to be Ryan Elliott spinning there, and unfortunately not going to be able to recover it, and he's going to go all the way down into last position there as we do see Ryan Elliott actually returning to garage there. Unfortunately, I believe that's going to be the end of his race there. I believe he's retired from all three of the races here from tonight, so definitely not the luck he has been looking for tonight, as we do see O'Leary in P4 now trying to climb up the order, as we do see Adam Christopher ahead. He has actually created quite a big gap for himself. We also see his teammate now, Callum Cripps. We have seen brilliant team orders between the two teammates here, but will this stand when they have to fight for each other for position shares? It does seem Cripps is gaining quite a bit of time now as we enter onto lap 10. Now, as we do see going through Church, he is actually getting a tiny bit more time than I expected going through Church there, but still going to be quite a significant gap here. So O'Leary has a bit of breathing space ahead and also a bit of breathing space behind here. However, that's not going to be the same here, as we do see now Jeffrey Fournier going side by side here with Bruter, I believe it is, for position going into Club. He is still going to be able to hold on for his position of P7 here. It's going to be really loose here. That's going to lose and affect so much momentum. He's going to spin though, unfortunately, and it's going to be him in a very vulnerable position here. Luckily, he's facing the right way though, as he's able to get up and going as soon as it is safe to go.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad because he was on the inside line. That racing line is sweeps around the outside of that particular part, so he would have been okay there. So it's Wilson, Cito Via still in second position, Adam Christopher. Is this a race where he claims his first podium of the season? We will see. He's got championship frontrunner Tom O'Leary right on his tail, so that is not going to be easy whatsoever. So let's see how this pans out there. Callum Wilson has not been able to break away too far though in the treble for Richards & Co Beamer, so he is still in sight of Cedar Via et al. So Christopher, O'Leary, Cripps, Herlock in that top 6 group. So if Cedar Via is able to close that gap down, oh, that's a move there from Tom O'Leary for 3rd place. But Adam Christopher's not letting him have it. Defends the inside line coming into the club chicane. Just needs to park on the apex. It's easier said than done when you've got someone like Tom O'Leary breathing down your neck. Oh, he tried to shut the door too late. The BMW got a good exit, but nothing Adam Christopher could have done there. He went to shut the door, realised it was too late, and got out of the move. Very, very good situational awareness there from Adam Christopher. Great move from Tom O'Leary. That is the Richards & Co Beamer up into 3rd.
Right, see Callum Cripps repeating history here, trying to get past Adam Christopher for position, but we also see this Dan Herlock putting an immense amount of pressure on Cripps here as well. But now we are going to have to see if Callum Cripps will be able to get by Adam Christopher as easily as his teammate was able to lock it. But now it doesn't seem it's going to be the case here as well for Daniel Herlock. It does seem he's losing a lot of time. He's sliding a lot through some of these faster right-handers here. He has lost a lot of time through the last complex of corners that we just went through as we go through Church now for the 12th time. As it does seem though Adam Christopher very vulnerable here. However, we did see a big moment there from Daniel Herlock, able to keep it in a straight line though, as it does seem to go side by side here. This is going to be what is going to be 4P4 here, but it does seem Adam Christopher is able to hold it on for the time being. But we do see Callum Cripps still just lurking for any opportunities now, as we do see Daniel Herlock gaping an amount of time there, going into the start finish straight into Allard for one of the final times here.
4 laps to go here in Thruxton, and what a night it's racing has been. Dan Herlock looks at the outside line, coming up towards Campbell, gets the door unceremoniously slammed in his face from the Richardson Co BMW of Callum Cripps. Alan Christopher wants those two Beamers to lock themselves in battle, and that gives him a bit of breathing space. Riding on board then with the champion himself, race 1 winner Dan Herlock, as he's trying to get past the familiar livery, but not usually the Richardson Co BMW he fights. It's usually Tom O'Leary, who's up into 3rd now. So he's very familiar with this colour scheme. He's Dan Herlock, having stared at it for certainly a lot of time. But what can we do here? What can we see? What can we expect coming through Church? Oh, Adam Christopher's been wrong-footed. He knew it. He got out of the way, I think. I think he was actually partly in a slide, but he knew that one was done. There was no opposition offered really to Callum Christopher. There was nothing Adam Christopher could have done. The car was already sliding somewhat, so he just let that one. He caught it when he could. Dan Herlock, though, hanging on in there. Tom O'Leary, new fastest lap. He's less than 6/10 behind Cito Vaya. So with 3 laps to go, will the Richardson Co BMW wrong-foot the Brabham Toyota of Cito Vaya to get up into 2nd? We will have to see, but it is Beamer from Toyota from Beamer. It's Wilson from Vaya from O'Leary.
It seems to still being so close here as we go through the final 3 laps here. Now we see Wire, who has had absolutely no break during the 3 races that we have witnessed here for tonight. Now as we see Thomas O'Leary looking to promote himself up into P2, but will Wire make it look easy? I'm not sure he will. He's been able to defend quite effectively over the past 2 races we've seen here for tonight, but Thomas O'Leary still not going to be able to get close enough just yet as we go through Church. This is where a lot of the drivers gain quite a bit of time just by being able to carry through a lot more speed. Tyres will be the most affected there going through Church as well as Club. Now as we go through it, it does seem it's all going to be down to breaking through this corner, which seems to be in O'Leary's favour here, 100% here. As we go on to the start finish straight, it doesn't seem he's going to be able to formulate side by side yet. Going on to lap 15, as it does seem Wire still going to be able to hold on for P2 for the time being.
2 laps left. That's all that remains of this fantastic race, as Tom O'Leary is doing what he can to get past Cito Vaya. Callum Wilson not breaking away at all. Well, doesn't particularly need to. He's just managing his pace now whilst the 2 behind continue to fight. Cito Vaya hanging on with everything he's got to that 2nd place. Even if he loses out to Tom O'Leary, it will still be a well-earned podium for the Brabham number 2. But what can you do? He wants that 2nd position. Now sweeping the way through Goodwood once again. Now through Village, the long sweeping right-hander, then Church. We've seen a few bouncing cars going on here. A lot of them. Oh, that looked a bit uncomfortable there for the Toyota. So is that going to be costly? We will see. They're now sweeping through the left-hander of Brooklands. The BMW's got the inside line. I think Cito Vaya. No, he does close the door. He does manage to get that door closed before they get into the braking zone. 1 lap to go. It could go either way.
It seems so now, as O'Leary looking in favour to take away Wire's position here, but it doesn't seem so just yet. It looks like he makes a tiny bit of a mistake going into Allard for the final time here. It does seem he's going to try lunge going in to Campbell for the final time. He's got the inside line, so it's going to be a massive advantage for him. It does seem though Wire's going to go a tiny bit wide there, but he's still going to have the inside line going in to the 2nd part of Cobb there, going through Seagrave there. It's not going to be the way Wire wanted it to be, as it seems O'Leary was able to get by there, but can we see any sort of retaliation here? We still have 2 sectors to go here, and it's all going to be down to slipstream here. Church is going to be the best overtaking opportunity going in to Club for this, as Wyatt has still been able, actually no, it doesn't seem he's I was going to say he's still able to stay right all over the back of this. There's been a penalty there for Spooner. I'm not sure if that's going to be an in-game penalty there, but that is a penalty for him to say the least.
Well, Callum Wilson will enjoy this one as he sweeps his way through Brooklands for the final time tonight, and then down towards Club. As long as he doesn't send it off into the dust, which of course he doesn't, it's going to be a Richardson go 1-2. Your winner for race number 3 is the treble 4. He's happy about it. Of Callum Wilson, chased home by Tom O'Leary, just beaten to second with Cedo Via. Callum Cripps had a go for third, couldn't quite do it to make a Richardson go 1-2-3. Cedo Via ruined that particular party. Callum Cripps 4th, Dan Hurlock 5th, Adam Christopher in 6th position. Jeff Fournier just losing out to Phil Morby there for 9th place, as Alan Smith is chasing a Bruno Reno. Wow, all coming across the line in very, very rapid fire. We did lose a few from that particular race. There is Max Spooner in the quarter-mast car. So he'll come home very much a lonely 16th position for him, with Lopez a late join to this race, our last finisher of the night.
I believe Spooner might actually be in 17th with the penalty that we received on the screen earlier, but we'll have to see when Lopez crosses the line here, as we do see Thiago Lopez, the first race and the last race here for tonight, he was able to enter, as he does seem to go up into P16 as predicted there, so that was quite a hefty penalty for Spooner, to say the least. But just saying, I keep saying it every race, and I'm going to keep saying it until my expectations become too high. But again, the racing has just been incredible here. Obviously, we saw that humongous incident going into, I believe it was it was turn 2, lap 2, I believe it was, where a car obviously flipped on its roof there. But that is very occasional. We do see it here, and it is obviously sometimes to be expected when that reverse order grid does occur.
And that's the thing with Thruxton, because these cars are going so quickly. When they hit the grass like that, they are complete passengers. So then, before Stewart's intervention, the race result for race number 3 here in Thruxton looks like this. Callum Wilson from Sam O'Leary, Cedo Via rounding out your top 3. Callum Cripps 4, Dan Hurlock 5th, Adam Christopher in 6th, Cameron Brewster 7th, Stephen McCready 8th, Phil Morby 9th, with Jeff Fournier rounding out the top 10. 11th was Chris Shepherd 12th, Ben Willis, Matty Allington 13th, Bruno Reno 14th, Alan Smith in 15th, Max Spooner crossed the line in 16th, but with a penalty actually demoted him behind Thiago Lopez into 17th position. We lost in the course of the race Jordan Richardson, Ryan Elliott, Sam Dowman. It is almost more expected to lose more cars in the reverse grid race. Aaron Markham, Mitch Marie, and Nathan Croak didn't see the flag on that occasion. What a night's racing we have had. It has been absolutely superb. We thought 2 weeks ago was good. This was something else.
It's always to be expected, though. It's Thruxton. It's the fastest circuit. The mainly just straight here, as you say, it's all right foot here. Just those 2 chicanes, which provide such good racing, as well as that. Obviously, the driver of the day for me has to be either O'Leary or Wyatt. It does seem Costello, also known as the person in production behind the scenes, has a similar opinion to me as well. What's your opinion throughout overall and for race 3? Who are the 2 drivers you'll pick for driver of the day?
So hard. It's so difficult.
Putting you on the spot.
So yeah, a little bit. We saw so many. Tom O'Leary had a good effort to fight his way through. Cedo Via would defend it against so much pressure. Who am I going to give it to? Who am I going to say is driver of the day? No, all of them. There you go. I'm going to say, based on results we've seen thus far, I'm going to say Adam Christopher. He's been right up there, almost in podium contention. But he's really fought hard tonight, so Adam Christopher is going to get my vote for race. Driver of the day, driver for race 3. I'm going to say Tom O'Leary. Fight the way through, almost got onto the top step, but yeah, that was a superb effort from the Richardson BMW.
We'll now see the calendar coming on screen shortly to see what comes up next. Donington Park National Circuit, obviously what was going to be the opening round originally, but obviously, as Chris mentioned earlier, is obviously due to technical issues. Oulton Park then on the 21st of August, followed then by Croft on the 4th of September, as well as Snetterton, your favourite track, Chris, on the 18th of September, followed then by the Donington Park GP layout on the 2nd of October, Silverstone or Silverstone National on the 16th of October, followed by the final round Brands Hatch GP layout on the 30th of October.
Absolutely. So what a great way to see out tonight's racing with what we've just seen. It has been a great pleasure to commentate on it. Thank you very much to those that have been with us, either live or post-event. It's always a pleasure to have you along for the ride. Thank you very much, Alex Newman, for returning with me to the box. What a nice racing we've had.
It's been amazing. Thank you very much for dealing with my amazing English skills for the past however long it's been.
Thank you very much to Dan Costello giving us the pictures for tonight. A superb job, good sir. And we hope to enjoy your lovely company in 2 weeks' time when we head to Donington Park for round number 4 of the VMO Touring Car Series. Until next time, thank you very much and good night!